Welcome to the Spiritual Warrior Coach podcast. This is a sacred space where healing begins, intuition awakens, and your spirit remembers its power. I'm your host, Barbra Savin, author, energy healing specialist, hypnotherapist, and spiritual life coach. For over 35 years, I've guided thousands of souls to protect their energy, trust their intuition, and step into their most empowered self. I invite you to join me for heartfelt conversations, spiritual insights, and gentle practices that nurture your soul and inspire your daily life. And together, we'll explore how to rise above negativity, trust your inner wisdom, and embrace the truth of who you are, a divine, radiant being of love and strength. So take a breath, settle in, and know you are not alone on this journey. You are loved. You are supported, and you are more powerful than you've ever been told. So let's rise together and join me now as your host. Well, thank you for joining me today, and welcome to the Spiritual Warrior Coach podcast. I'm your host, Barbra Savin, here to help you reclaim your power, your energy, and your authentic self. And today, it is such a blessing to share this sacred space with my extraordinary guest. Her radiant light, profound wisdom, and heartfelt guidance are reflections of the incredible soul that she is. And her presence elevates and inspires everyone who has the privilege today of listening. So welcome, Barbra, to the show.
Hi, I'm so glad we're here and technology didn't get us down.
I know. Sometimes it does. Well, before we begin our conversation, let me share, a little bit about you. Barbra Banner is the medium with 1,000 years of experience, a calling from the other side. It all started with mysterious happenings, objects flying off shelves, fans turning on with lights, flickering in rooms, even ones without bulbs, and glowing orbs dancing through her videos. And the universe was sending a message, and she had no choice but to listen. Little did she know, this was a family secret spanning generations. And what she thought was beginner's luck was actually a destiny waiting to unfold. And with over 35 years of experience supporting individuals in crisis, whether in crisis hotlines, in hospital ERs, or with the hospital's crisis response team to help at the scene of a passing, she's seen firsthand the depth of emotions that we carry. And Spirit understands this too. And Barbra's readings can be deeply healing, joyful, and even life-changing. And yes, many times they can be surprisingly fun. So welcome to the show. I'm so happy that you're here today, believe me.
We're going to have fun.
Yes, lots of fun. Well, I guess my first question to you is, you mentioned mysterious happenings, objects moving. What was the very first moment that you actually realized that these experiences were actually more than coincidental,
Well, it was the pandemic was starting. And the first thing I noticed, because I was going out for commercials, in a video I was sending, I looked at it one more time. I guess Spirit said, you better look at this lady. And there were orbs flying over it. I said, what the heck is this? I did not see them when I was filming it. And then it all made sense because a clock flew off the wall and pictures fell down, and my mother-in-law's picture on the mantle fell down and broke. I had nothing to do with it.
Wow.
So and the fans and everything, just the whole house was going haywire. And I said, okay, something's going on. I better do something about it. And I signed up for Suzanne Giesman's soul to soul communication class. And that was it. Within 7 months, I had hung a shingle and I was donating readings and doing, changing readings with other people, and went into professional very, very quickly. And that's when I found out that people were telling me, well, you've been doing this for centuries. You just, it goes into your DNA. And I guess it reared its head in later in life for me. But I'm
Oh,
so happy.
wow. Well, I call it spiritual timing. When the timing is right is when it actually happens.
That's
This is
what
the
they
same for
say.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is when it's supposed to be the right time, it'll be.
When the soul is ready,
Oh
then
yeah.
they rang my bell. That's
They sure
oh,
did, didn't
yeah.
they? So let me ask you, you learned that your abilities were part of a family secret. How did that discovery actually affect your understanding of your gifts and, your purpose?
Well, I after I started and I was getting some information on my father on the other side, I said, I better tell my mother. My mother was 104. And I decided I better tell her. I was afraid it was going to push her over the edge, but she would have liked that. Um, and I told her, Mom, I'm a medium now, and I'm talking to Dad. And I said, I didn't know how you take it. And she
Wow.
said, your grandmother, who was from Ukraine, she took me when I was a kid to like fortune tellers and psychics and tea leaf readers. And people were lining up to get information from her. She said she had it. I said,
Yeah.
Mom, you're 104. When were you going to tell me? And she had no answer. But, they didn't talk about it in those days. It was like, down low, keep it under wraps because I mean, a couple hundred years ago, we were being burned at the stake for even mentioning it. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, the same with me. My grandma had the abilities, and it passed on to me and
right.
my sister. Skipped my mom though, so my
Yeah,
mom
my
was
mom too. Yeah.
yeah. So, but back, I mean, I was born in 1948, a long, long time ago. So,
You
but
look fabulous.
yeah, well, thank you. So, but I look back, back then, and I say, wow, everyone was so afraid, to say because yeah, they would put you in a psychiatric
Right.
ward because they would think you're
Absolutely.
crazy. So yeah, I would assume that's why your mom
Never said
never
anything.
said anything. But did she have the abilities or
No,
no?
no,
So she didn't.
no, not at all.
And
Um,
where was your family from? Like mine was from Istanbul, from Turkey.
my mother, my grandmother was from Russia, from
Okay,
Kiev, and my father's family was from Vienna.
okay, yeah, we have Russian and Poland, and
Right.
well, I call it the United Nations because it's all over everywhere.
It's what
But
America is, the melting pot.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, so once you found out these that you had these gifts, were you afraid to use them, or did you like, were you happy about it?
I was so excited. After the first class I had, the first day when she showed us how to meditate, I had never even meditated before.
Mm,
I was a rookie, and I loved the feeling. And that night I went home to practice. I locked myself in a closet. It was dark. My husband didn't know what I was doing. And all of a sudden, I'm meditating and I see like a little half wall and my father looking over with some others. And I said, this is easy, So I just connected right away. I mean, they didn't waste any time on me.
they didn't. They just put you right into it.
They just said,
Were you ever afraid?
no, when I was in middle school, I said to my friends, I think I'm a witch. I mean, I knew I had something. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what medium. And then all of a sudden, I'm interested. I'm watching Sylvia Brown and, John this and
Hmm.
paranormal things. I was fascinated, fascinated. So, yeah, I didn't know that I had anything, but there was something brewing.
What was the age that it came out for you? I'm curious.
How about late 60s?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Late 60s.
late
I would have thought you would have told me late 30s.
No, no, no. I was
Okay.
an advertising and marketing maven for years, for decades. So
Okay.
this was quite different.
Yeah, mine came out in the late 30s. I was in the 30s. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But I didn't really go you know,
Right.
force into it until my late 40s. So, yeah, it's amazing how again when it's the right timing.
Exactly.
Let me So what was like one pivotal moment during your mediumship training that you completely shifted or, strengthened your connection to spirit?
Well, there were some different points where I pivoted in my journey. And one of them was I was doing a reading for an organization called Helping Parents Heal. It's for people who lost children.
Children.
And in my, it was like the first parent that I did. It was early on. And in my readings, they can ask questions. But the first question I said, I'm hijacking that. Just ask your little son a question, and don't tell me what it is. Just do it telepathically. And she said, okay, I've asked him. And so I said, this is what I'm seeing. Your son is riding on the back of a giant butterfly in heaven. He's dive bombing. He's having the best time. I said, does that have anything to do with your question? She was, tearing up. She goes, it sure does. I said, so what was the question? She said, what is he doing in heaven right now? And here is, I want to show you a picture. She said, I bought a book after my son passed. So it was for children, how to tell children. So I could tell his little sister what happened and what it means. And they described the kind of things that kids could do on the other side. They made it up.
Mm-hmm.
And she said there was a page where there's a little boy riding on the back
of a
butterfly.
Wow.
So that was, wow. What a profound thing to show the mother that her son is here right now. Like I told her, he's always around. He put that into my head because he knows what the question was. And it was something that you would understand. And wow, he was with me when I read the book to his sister. He still exists, just in another form. That got me, that to make such a difference for somebody to know unconditionally, without skepticism, that her son is still, his consciousness is still there.
Yeah, that was definitely peace of mind, and knowing that he's
So I went and got,
wow.
I got certified by Helping Parents Heal so that I could do more for them, and
so you're now in like a crisis support group, and
well, no, I'm not in Helping Parents Heal. I'm just one of many mediums that they recommend.
Okay.
Pick from that have been certified and tested, and you're not going to get somebody who's going to say, "Give me $10,000."
Exactly.
Take the hex off. Okay.
Well, yeah, and I've seen those before. Believe me. I mean, not me personally, but I've heard them from my clients.
Yeah.
That they're really looking for somebody that's authentic, someone that. Yeah. I mean, we all have the powers within us.
We do.
It's just a matter of when we choose to see them. Yes. And not be afraid of them. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. And believe in them. And I'm also certified with findacertifiedmedium.com with Mark Ireland. So yeah, be careful. But we do all have the powers. As Suzanne Giesemann would say, if a little boy comes out and gets on a piano and he's never played it before, and someone hums a tune and all of a sudden he's doing it, he's done it before in another life. And she said, everybody can learn how to play the piano. This is how she states it. But not everybody's going to be a Mozart. So, and that's the same with people using their gifts and their ability to connect.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt in my mind, and I know, like, for myself, when the time was right is when I wasn't afraid to say who I was.
Right.
And I was for many, many years, but and bullied because of it. So yeah. After a while, when it's time, it'll happen.
Right. And people are so open now. I mean,
oh yeah. Especially here in California. I mean, in Brooklyn, they were a little bit, I mean, I did work with Islands Women's Medical, and I helped it with 9/11. I did a lot of healing there. So they were open to it, but not the way it is here. it
Well, the year of 2025 is when they say that it's opening up for a lot of people. This
yeah.
it's not woo woo anymore.
No, and I've noticed on my podcast.
Spirituality, yeah.
Well, that's it. So many people now are into energy healing and hypnotherapy and spiritual coaching and mediumship
Yeah.
and
Everything.
accepting, yeah, their abilities, finally. So it makes me,
Yeah.
it really gives me a lot of joy to know I've lived now to see this
And
because
it's going to get bigger. It's going to, next year and the year after when the ETs start walking down the street. Hi, how you doing? Everybody's going to be a believer in. We're in the right business,
yeah,
okay?
I know. I know. But
AI can't take this away from us, but I don't
no,
say that.
no, not at all. I mean, they can help us in certain ways, but no, not take that human contact and
Right.
experience away. But so let me ask you, how have your real life encounters with like grief and trauma actually shaped the way you deliver, messages, I want to say, from the other side?
Well, I always believe in be your authentic self. That's why people come to
Mhm.
different, that's why you pick a certain medium or a certain coach or something that you resonate with them, that they're authentic. So my authentic is fun, humorous, lighthearted. So that's what I try to bring into it. And everything that I learned, because I had to go for extensive training for the women's crisis line, and then even more for the city's crisis response team, where I met a policeman on the scene where there was a dead body. And then the family came. So I was just foisted on somebody who was having the worst day of their lives.
Mhm.
And I learned so much, just little things that could help them. Like we had lecturers on like all different kinds of passing, whether it was suicide or plane crash or car crash, bicycle. So and everybody has different they have different needs. If it's somebody who had a suicide, they're feeling so guilty. Like, why couldn't I notice it? Why did
Mhm.
I, especially from a parent, as opposed to someone who lost a child in a car crash. I mean, it's all grief,
Yeah.
but the feelings that the family has are can be a little different depending on their age and how they passed, and religion as well.
Mhm. Do you think some of them just can't get over the grief?
They'll never forget it. They'll never not have a hole in their heart.
Mhm.
But listen, when somebody passes over, the one thing they think about more than anything is, are my loved ones going to be okay? Are they going to be okay? Sometimes they stick around for a little bit to
Mhm.
make sure that that she doesn't do something terrible to herself.
Mhm.
They are just wanting to make sure, all they want from us is to have joy in our lives, to to help others, be of service to others, and have the best life they possibly can. The loved ones are always going to be with us. They
Oh
don't
yeah.
have any jealousy
Mhm.
or no one's judging us, and that's always good to know. um so it's just a wonderful thing, and you are going to get over grief. You are going to go some people can get over it really quickly. You
Mhm.
can get a widow whose husband just died, and 6 months from now she could be dating, okay, and the husband probably sent her somebody who
Yeah.
went off the checklist. Okay, she get her back on her path. Or you could have somebody whose husband passed, and 10 years later, they're still holed up in their house.
In the house. Yeah.
There is no right or wrong way to grieve. There's no right or wrong thing. Well, there are wrong things to say, but nobody knows what to say when someone passes. There's nothing that's going to make them feel better.
Do you feel the same applies to like your pets? Dogs and cats?
Well, they're definitely on the other side too. So if you
Yeah.
if you lost a dog, or she's going to be waiting for you, to jump on your clean pantsuit. as soon as you get up there. And a lot of times a pet will come up in a reading. I'll say there's this very yappy little white dog that's just causing a lot of trouble. She goes, oh, that's little Lulu. So
Mhm.
they will come through. They there's a movie, All Dogs Go to Heaven. That person probably had an NDE because they do.
So do you feel that most animals do go to heaven?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
about humans?
Yes. I
Okay.
don't really believe
Yeah.
in hell. I don't think,
No, I don't.
yeah. Uh,
Hmm.
I think that even the worst of worst, they get therapy. I mean, they don't go into the general population right away. They have
Hmm.
to really get work done before they're ready. So, um,
Yeah,
and
I feel the
remember,
same way.
we most of the time we pick our life down here. I don't know how somebody wants to be a mass murderer, but then again, that's probably goes under free will,
Yeah, I would, yeah, I would assume it would be. But
right?
that's a weird life to live, but you never know,
You never know.
you
But we
know.
pick our life here, so you have to say, if I pick this, there must be a reason. If
Hmm.
I lost a child, there must be some good that will come out of it that I don't know now, because we don't know until we get on the other side.
No, no. And I feel then once we're there, I think we sit down at a table and they show us everything that we needed to heal and what we still haven't healed.
Right. And that's what doing
Hmm.
all this, having all these lessons that we have to go through here, help
Hmm.
heal some of our karma and prepare us for the next life. And
Do you
so
think we'll come back?
many times.
Do you think maybe I keep on saying, please let this be the last time?
I know, I do too. I said, look, I've done a lot of volunteering. How many extra gold stars do I get?
Hmm.
And I thought maybe because my life has been pretty easy this time, I was blessed, that maybe this was the last one. And I asked some mentors, and they said, no, that's not what it means.
That's not what it means.
No,
I
it
know.
means you could be resting up because your next life's going to be hell on wheels.
Oh, geez.
Or you could have just had a horrible life where
Hmm.
you're digging ditches in Venezuela in the 200-degree heat. That you could just be getting a little break. So we
Yeah,
don't know. We
we
don't
don't know. We don't know what God has planned for us.
exactly.
Yeah, whatever it is, we accept it because it is
Yeah,
what it is. So,
just try to get through the challenges
hmm.
and go with the flow, because the challenges will hurt less if they're over quickly. Don't
Hmm.
try to stretch it out or fight it. Just do what needs to be done and just get rid of the anger that's going to keep it going and just bring your energy down.
Yeah, that's how I feel the same way. So, I know my life has been a little bit of a roller coaster ride, but then 21 years, God placed me in California.
Right.
Um, and then I ended up getting a job at the California Health and Longevity Institute in a Four Seasons hotel.
Whoa.
And I was there for 15 years, and it made everything real for me. From Fortune 500 people to celebrities to you name it, I've seen them. And I say, wow, talk about like really, pushing me like
Right.
major. And that was because I was always, maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or people are going to think I'm weird. And then, wow, I was just thrown into that, head
Right.
over heels. And it was probably, I'd have to say, the best time, the the best years that I've
Right.
had.
It's our fears that keep us from
Yeah.
reaching our potential, because we're afraid of failing or not
Hmm.
being good enough. But failing is okay. It's
Yeah.
supposedly whatever happens. If you fail, it's for a reason, and you're going to learn that lesson. So just go on, try it again, and it'll all come out the way it's supposed to. That's
Oh,
just how I
without a doubt. I mean, and even with my podcast, I always wanted to do it, and I was afraid to do it. And then I met someone, and she said, Just go for it. It's
feel.
okay if you make mistakes. Everyone's human." And then I started doing it. And now you're the 112th person. So,
Right.
Yeah, it's amazing how we finally release our fears that hold
Right.
us back.
And then just embrace it,
Yes.
and that's when it's the best.
Oh,
You feel comfortable. Yeah.
oh, without a doubt. So let me ask you, what was the most like profoundly healing messages that you've witnessed a spirit share, with a loved one, during maybe one of your readings?
That was profoundly healing. Um, okay, I have a woman who comes to me every year on the anniversary of her husband's passing. And let's just say she's a little insecure about him being there for her when she gets over there. And she tends to try to test me every year. And we don't like to be tested. Okay. Um, and somehow I always it's pulled out. I always give her what she needs and she's fine for a while. Well, this last time she says, I know you say he's always around me. She goes, I have not felt him for 6 months. And I am so depressed and I don't know what to do. And I don't see any signs or she said, um, if he's really around, have him tell me what what TV show I binged all during the pandemic. And I thought to myself, all right, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull the rabbit out of this hat. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like what, a million TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
But I got very close to her husband. He was always trying to get her into an X-rated thing with him. And I'd always say, stop, get a room. You're not doing that with me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he said, it's Outlander. And I said, it's Outlander. She goes, it's Outlander. She said, you have no idea how you have just made me feel and have changed. I'm getting goosebumps right now. I know it's from the husband. How you have made me feel that, yes, he is around, even if I don't feel him. Just that knowing. She said, you saw how depressed I was when I got on and how sad I was. She goes, I thought he had another woman. I mean, things will go into your head and you don't know. So she said, I can't thank you enough. And I always say, stop testing me. And she already tested me for the next year. So, I can't stop her. But these kind of things
of healing
change how you feel, because you don't feel anything. You don't get any signs. They're busy anyway. I mean, they could be in 50 places at once. But they're still with you.
Oh, I know, without a doubt. Because sometimes I feel my grandma, sometimes I hear my father. So I very rarely hear my mother, but I think it's because she really needs to heal on the other side. Do you feel that once they get there, they need to heal on all levels?
They need to whatever they need to heal with for, they will. But remember, that doesn't. If she was, I have a feeling that your mother was what she just was stern. Let me just say stern. Would you understand that with not a face that's with a
No, she was stern.
a putum that said I'm judging you kind of thing. You understand that? Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
she's around too. So they're playing a role. She's had a lot of lives. In this role, that's who she was. And in this role you played, you were the daughter who had suffered the, whatever she didn't do or did to you or for you, whatever. So that's doesn't mean that's who she is. That's who her essence is. Her essence. Because I also feel that she could have a sense of humor when you didn't expect it. Would you understand that?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Yes.
Yeah, she could say something
Yeah, she was funny.
Yeah, she's funny. So, but she still wanted to be that stern woman and it's usually generational. It's usually what went on with her mother and the up above, and then the things trickle down, and you just always hope that the next generation says, enough. I will never do that to my child or make them feel that way. And that's what they're looking for, the strong one who steps forward and says, I'm stopping
You're
this.
stopping it, right? You're severing those cords.
Yes.
Mhm.
So she I'm sure she's come down and asked for forgiveness for not living up to your expectations and hers. Okay, she does of course feel guilty, um, and she's like showing me that when she went through the the life review, that she was like shocked at some things that she had said, or that how something made you feel, and that she didn't really realize that at the time until they look back
Well,
and
that's
they
it.
had
Yeah.
such a different perspective.
I think it was more my expectations than anything else.
Well, something about expectations to
Hmm.
live up to yours or hers, or
Yeah, it was mine. I would always think, why doesn't she do this or that? And that, I should have realized that was her journey. So her journey was hers, mine is completely different.
and we all pick it for whatever
Pick it.
reasons. We don't
Hmm.
know until I always tell people, when you cross over, there's going to be a whiteboard, and it's going to say, um, lost a child, and it'll tell you exactly why. So we don't know what's going to what it is until we get over there.
Till we get there.
As Dolores Cannon would say, it's not a test if you know what the question is.
Hmm.
We're
Hmm.
being tested here, and if we don't pass it,
Yes.
a certain um, uh, test or lesson that we're supposed to learn next life, we got to take the class over again.
Yep. That's why I keep on saying, if we don't, it just keeps on hitting us and coming over and over. And then we say, well, gee, okay, I now I understand. But then do we really understand? That's the question sometimes. So, 'cause
Right, because you're not going to remember in your next life that
no,
you what you did or what you didn't do. You're just going to have to have evolved. Your soul is just going to have
exactly.
to evolve so that you
So,
do know what to do.
do you think that some people, I guess, do some people fear or doubt some of the signs that they receive? And
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
okay,
Absolutely. Um, I had a woman, and I said, "Well, your sign's going to be butterfly. Your son's showing me a butterfly. This wasn't the young son. This was an old, someone in their 20s." And and I said, "Has there been any butterflies, lately?" She goes, "It's like the middle of winter here. There's snow. There's not going to be any butterflies." Um, and then she said, "Well, we were just away, and my husband said there's a bunch of butterflies near you, like following us. Look back." And one of them is going around her in a circle. I said, "So knowing that I said butterflies,
hmm,
and you seeing butterflies when there's not supposed to be any,
yep.
didn't you think maybe it's my son?" She goes, "No, I thought that it must be butterfly migration time." She made up this cockamamie
Yeah,
thing, and I just laughed. I said, "What is butterfly migration time? How could you?" I mean, I was just flabbergasted that that she couldn't do it. Oh, and there's this is a really funny one. If they're funny on this side, they're funny on
oh,
that
they
side.
are funny on the other side.
Oh my God. Well, that's what they show you. And I have funny
Mhm.
guides anyway. So I had a woman, I said, "Ask your son a question. I don't want to know what it is." And so I said, "Okay, this is what he's showing me." I said, "This is really weird." I said, "He's showing me himself squished into a giant jar, okay, with a cap. And it's something that you'd see on a mad scientist's
Mm.
show." I said, "I don't know what that, do you know what that means? Does that, I said, "First of all, what was the question you asked your son?" Um, she said, "I wanted to know if he came to the concert. We went to a rock and roll concert. It was his favorite band, but he didn't live long enough to see it. So I wanted to know if he came there." And I said, "Well," and she said, we brought a jar of his ashes with us
Here we go. Hmm.
so we could spread it out there. And I just wanted to know if he knew that." I said, "Lady, okay." I said, "You don't see the the connection of your son showing himself in a
Mhm.
jar,
Squished. Hmm.
squished to you brought his ashes in a jar. She goes, oh, now I get it. So some people, it can go right, it can fly right by them.
I know. Oh, I know. It's crazy when that happens. They just
And
don't
they
see
make
it.
up crazy things, I didn't even think.
Yeah, that's funny though. But so did she actually spread his ashes and set him
Yes,
free? Oh,
yes,
she did.
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
she did. So she just wanted to make sure that he knew about it. So of course he did.
Did. Wow, that's incredible. So, so let me ask you, do you feel some spirits come seeking like forgiveness and others come, wanting to share love and
Yes.
hmm
I mean, everyone's life is different. Depending, um, there's a lot of fathers who were alcoholics or physically abusive,
hmm
and they come and try to explain a little. Not they take responsibility,
hmm
but they want you to understand that his father beat him, and his father was an alcoholic,
hmm
and nobody hugged him or said I loved you
So he did
for
the same.
his whole life. And we learn how to love and how to treat people from the way we were treated. So he said, you were perfect. It was not about you. It was about my scars, my inability to connect and show love. It doesn't mean I didn't feel it. I just was incapable of showing it.
Of showing
And
up.
that is healing for everybody, especially for the woman who never got a hug. Uh, One time I was reading this guy, and I said, your mother is behind you, and she's putting her arms around your neck. You know how you might just like a sweater kind of thing, just put and giving you the biggest hug. And he starts crying. I said, well, what happened? He said that would be the only hug she ever gave me.
Wow.
So meaningful to me that she's giving me a hug now that she can, because this
Did,
was someone who was in foster care, the mother and drug habits and all these things. I mean, it's
so do you think that the person here on earth finally finds like acceptance and forgiveness to them?
yes, yes, they do. Most people say I've already forgiven her, but I know well enough that you can say that, but the scars are still there.
Yeah, still
You
there.
just can't. Okay, you are forgiven, it's fine. It's comforting to know that she lived her life without any love. It doesn't make it any better for the the guest,
Yeah.
but it fills in some. We like to fill in some holes that we find in our life with things that maybe make us feel better. And so nobody can take away the scars of her not being there for her, or being an addict, but it can make us feel a little better about ourselves.
hmm Yeah, that we
It
weren't
wasn't that I was a bad kid or that I
right.
was pretty enough, or
hmm
it was her. She just needed to be healed. So,
And
and
I see that with a lot of my clients, it's all things that happen to them. It's
child
just
trauma,
right
that's where
trauma.
it is.
Hmm
And for the parents, they had the same trauma, but it was the beatings were probably even harder with the generation before. um so and the
Oh yeah, the
abuse,
generation before, like even when we were born, I'm sure they went through a lot of
with the depression and
yeah.
just trying to put food on the table. I mean, can
hmm
you imagine the stress going on there? And the insecurity and just feeling useless and helpless, and you can't provide for your family. I mean, you can only imagine how difficult and how heavy the vibration was going on there.
Oh, that must have been really very heavy. Yeah. And so then they hold on to that because no one back then taught them how to clear themselves or
No, nobody said anything. You
nobody
just
said
kept it
anything.
in until you blew.
Yeah.
it just had to blow.
So let me ask you something. I know doing what you do can be extremely like emotional. How do you um how do you protect and balance your energy when you're channeling, others from the other side?
Well, that's why I was in the crisis response team with the police. I am not emotional in that way.
Okay.
Okay. I can compartmentalize. I can put it, I am here. This woman just saw her child a minute ago who's not alive. I have a job to do. I
Mhm.
can't start thinking about how sad this is. I have a job to do. And, um, whatever it takes for somebody to not think of it or put it away, or maybe I have blinders when it comes to that, because I'm working, and I just, and it doesn't come to me at night. I don't start feeling terrible. I think I cried once on the way home from a woman whose husband committed suicide, and she was just beside herself and with two kids and everything. And that was the first time that I actually cried about somebody. So for some reason, it just brought up something in me. But I, I said I can't do that. I need to just do my job.
Well, yeah, because we have to stay completely detached.
Yeah. I say we're like the 911 operator. You can
Hmm.
call, a man can call and say, my wife is on fire. What do I do? And she says, well, what time did that start? And just as calm as can be, is like he called up and said, can you tell me the time? I mean, people can be trained to keep their composure. Um, and it's interesting. You never know what you're going to do in an emergency situation until it happens. I remember being in my house, and I was alone, naked in bed, heard drawers being tossed around and somebody in the other room. And I had a back door, and my car was right out there. And instead of just getting in the car and getting out and calling the police, I just said, get out of my house. What are you doing here? And I scared the burglar away. And the police said, what the hell did you do that for? Yeah, that's not safe. Um, he said, just you could have gone outside and just driven away.
Hmm.
You don't know what you're going to do.
You don't.
No, but I did go get a gun order a gun the next day and take shooting lessons. And I'm a pot shot, so that's good.
I am also.
Yeah. I'm like, ooh, I must.
Well, I had the same situation, but I came face to face with him.
Ooh,
But we had just bought a gun. This was going back many years ago in
yes.
Brooklyn, and he actually opened the window. My husband would work late at the phone company, and usually I would go to lie in bed like at 9:30, 10 o'clock because he'd be home like by 10:30. But this time something told me not to. And we lived on the first floor, and lo and behold, here comes the
Right.
window opening, and I immediately ran for the gun. And I waited till he opened the window like halfway, and I actually held the gun with both hands. And
Right.
then I turned on the light, and he looked at me, and I said to him, "I will kill you."
Oh, I love
I,
that.
and he ran away, but I was able to get a hold of look at his face, and he
Yes.
was the same guy that was robbing all these apartments in Brooklyn if you lived on the first floor, and
Right.
they were able to get him. And the policeman, he said to me, "Were you going to shoot?" And I said to him, "Well, I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. Yeah, I would, as much as I would not have wanted to hurt somebody, but I had to protect my two children."
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, you do things
You don't know what you're going to do
you
until
don't know
you're
what you're going to
with it.
do.
But yeah, you had to protect your family.
And
So
at that time, it like normally I would have been in bed, but that day, talking about intuition and
yeah.
everything, it was like something said to me, "No, you need to stay up, stay up." And I stood up and I'm very grateful I did
Yeah, so
because there was
someone
a
gave
reason.
you, somebody on the other side gave you a little zits, you know.
Oh, they sure did. Let me tell you, quite many times. So,
Yeah, yeah, we
but
love
yeah,
messenger.
because so I guess it's important, that we, th- well, actually anyone, protect your energy, and not get involved or not become somebody else's journey because it doesn't belong
Right.
to you.
I do once in a while get a spirit in the middle of the night, usually between 3 and 4
Hmm.
hours. But if they come, I know it's good information.
Hmm.
I had a woman's husband. She was very, very skeptical. Come like at 3:30, and he showed me a half a toasted bagel um, that was scooped out. And so I let her know. I said, "Your husband was here." Um, and I said, "Does a scooped out bagel mean anything to you?" She goes, "No, that's not even evidence. Why are you even bothering me with that? That's nothing. Every Jewish woman scoops out her bagel." I don't.
I
Um,
don't.
so I said, "Okay, just beware." He came, and that's what he wanted to show me. So there you go. 4 days later, she gets in touch with me. She goes, "You're not going to believe this," because I didn't. She said, "I went to my father-in-law's house because her husband passed. Um, and he said, I invented a product, and I have a prototype and I want to just show it to you." And she said, "Okay." And he said, "You know what this is?" She goes, "I don't have any idea." She was a little nasty. "I don't have any idea what this is." He said, "It's a bagel scooper." He invented a bagel scooper. She said, we were shocked. We couldn't even speak
Oh,
that you
yeah.
knew that he had visited you and told me, what, be aware of a bagel scooper.
That's incredible. I mean, I've never even heard of a bagel scooper.
Well,
So,
no, I guess it didn't get made. I mean, obviously she didn't have much faith in it. But so I know if spirit's going to come around, just get my pen and my pad and go into the den and write down.
write it down. Yeah, the dreams are unbelievable. I mean, last night I had a dream that there was a big tiger at my door, but it was just sitting there and never really came in and to do anything. And I says, "Oh, it was probably just there to protect me."
Protect
And
you.
yeah, and then in the same dream, I was walking to see where this tiger went. Um, and then I see somebody doing like this to the doorknob, and then I immediately closed the door, locked the door. And then when I woke up, today, I says, "Wow, s- there's like a whole bunch of protection here." You
Right.
know.
So you had forgotten to lock the door?
No, no, I didn't. That's
Reminder
the,
to.
the thing. But yeah, so I said, "Wow." So I have to look into it a little deeper what that meant. But the spiritual aspect of it. But yeah, it was interesting. There was the tiger, very calm, doing nothing to me, just being there. And then somebody trying to get into my house. But yet one of the locks were locked, but the other one wasn't. So and I said, "Oh, that's interesting." So yeah, it's amazing how the dreams also give
Yeah,
us a lot
that's
of
another way for
messages.
them to communicate.
Oh
It's
yeah.
okay. So was a loved one in the dream, or was just the animal?
It was just the animal, but I was also thinking about my little girl, my dog, who passed away. So I guess maybe she came in to show me she's now a tiger. I don't know. So yeah, it could very well be.
Um, did you have a little white dog? I had a little white dog come into the last reading, and I didn't. I sometimes they come early.
She was like blondish,
Blondish, white.
blondish. Yeah, yeah. A little blonde, absolutely adorable. Yeah,
Of course.
they
So
all are.
I know dogs the
We
best.
love our pets with,
I know that's one of the rituals I do before. Once I've medit no yeah once I started to meditate, I do a little ritual, and one of them is to roll around on the floor with two spirit animals, a wolf and a tiger, and
Mhm.
then high five my group, and just I do a whole thing. So the animals have to be part of it.
Oh yeah, for me too. I know I have, spirit animals with me all the time. So every now and then I see a spirit bear, and I see it's a bear, but
Right.
it's in spirit form. And I say, oh, that's, I'm not afraid,
Right,
anything that I see, I'm not afraid.
right, right,
Well, many, many years ago I was, but no longer, because now I trust that they do come to us in all different forms.
right. Yeah, nothing to
So
be afraid of.
let me ask, looking back on your journey, from unexplained phenomenal to becoming, a trusted medium, what do you now understand about like destiny and intuition, and being called into, the spiritual service that you're doing?
Well, first of all, they say if you find your purpose in life, you don't age. Like that a lot,
Hmm.
and and that um, and that you will. What's the other thing? Um, that you won't get sick. You won't get really sick.
Yes.
I like both of those. Those are good. Um,
Hmm.
so what do I think of? I just think that I'm just so much gratitude um, that they're showing me that just go with it. Just go. I think that's one of the things. Just go with the flow.
Well,
You picked it. Live with it. You'll die with it. Just go with it. Just believe that if we can do all that we can do, we can we can help your life for you to grow in this lifetime and reach your potential and help others. That's really important. They want everybody to be of
be
service,
of
even on
service.
the other side. If you come over there and you're uh, an addict or something, you'll be doing helping other addicts who arrive to feel at home or comfortable and get you to the right there. Everyone's there to help.
Yeah, everyone is there to be of service. There's no, doubt in my mind that
Right.
we're here to help others,
Yes.
but again, not to, take on their journey.
Right.
But
Everyone's got their own journey. You can't
Mhm.
you can't like we'd like to keep our kids from having any strife, but they've got to go through it. They have to learn. They have to learn how to navigate this world because that's the main thing. We all have to learn how to navigate
Mhm.
challenges.
And I think nowadays it's like so the when I grew up, it's so different than when it was back then. Now you have all this social media, a lot of this stuff is it's not real. And I mean, I have grown grandchildren and I
Right,
tell them that this stuff is not real.
right.
Live in the moment, put the phone down,
That's all we have is now. So,
right?
and the social media is not helping
No,
children.
no.
It's making it's there's so much depression now in
Hmm.
kids. Like 40 something percent of of kids now have anxiety and depression, um, feeling left out and judged, and it's a mess. But let's not bring down the
Yeah,
vibration. That we are going
no.
to
Well,
lift
yeah.
everyone's spirit.
Yeah, they all have different purpose. So, and I look and I say, wow, in a way, the computers and all that is really good. It makes my job easier.
Definitely,
Yeah, I'm
definitely.
able to do PowerPoints and all this other things that I would never been able to do. So
Right.
I'm very grateful for, for a lot of this. But so, wow, you've been doing this for a long time. So where can my listeners get a hold of you? I know you're in California also.
I am, and if someone lives in California, I do, as long as I know that they're not like mass murderers or anything. Um, I they could come to my house, and I can give
Oh,
them
okay.
a personal reading. I'm at bannermedium.com, and talks about me and has testimonials um, and little clips of some of the things I do that are really interesting to give us a taste of the readings and some of my podcasts, and you can book a session as well.
Do you do Zoom also? And
Yes, I do Zoom. I do Zoom. Somebody, if there's a problem with Zoom, we can do FaceTime. I've done, I've done Messenger. There's always a way to
so
connect.
isn't that a one? That's the great thing about this technology now. look at we're, yeah, I mean, we're both in California, but I've had people from all over the world now on
Me
my
too.
podcast. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a beautiful thing.
And sometimes, like, we've got the video, but the audio's not working. So we call each other on the phone and do the audio on the phone, and at least we can see them talking. So
Well, yeah,
there's always a way. There's
there's
always,
always a way. Yeah, now there is always a way.
yeah, yeah.
But one more time, where can my listeners get a hold of you,
Banner
Barbara?
Medium, Banner medium.com.
Okay,
That's
I'll have all
Banner.
that in the notes. And
Thank you.
thank you so much, for sharing your time, your heart, your remarkable gifts, with me and all my audience today. And, it was truly an honor to hold, space with you. And I truly hope that our paths continue to cross in beautiful ways. And as I mentioned before we went on, I do want to book a session for my husband
Fine.
who never knew his mom. So I think you'll be able to help him there. And
Yes. And
yeah,
I'll give you a discount. So
oh,
don't.
well, that's even better. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he'll enjoy it. Believe me. He needs some closure. So
Absolutely. So
yeah.
we can do that. I'm
Well,
sure
thank you.
she's ready to go.
Yep, I think she's been ready. So, and now I
Yes.
finally met someone who can help her, give him some messages. So, I can't wait, for you both to connect
This has
and
been wonderful. It's almost like we're just sitting down having a cup of tea
conversation.
together. It
I
was
know.
very lovely.
Or it feels like for some reason, I mean, I know this is the end of our show, but yeah, it feels like there is some connection. And I'm not because our both names are Barbara, which is very unusual. It's a beautiful name. I love my name. Um, yeah, there's just something there. I can't pinpoint it, but it is there, when we first got on.
I
Yeah.
knew somebody named Barbara Savin who I never met, but she was like in New Jersey or something. I don't know.
Ah, well, I live back east, but I don't think it was me, but
No,
you
it
never
wasn't.
know. But again, thank you, Barbara. And of course, thank you to my beautiful listeners, for opening your hearts and for joining us on this journey. And remember, you are powerful, you are loved, you are worthy, you are enough, and your light matters more than you'll ever know. So until next time, keep shining, keep believing in yourself, and know that you are never alone on this path. So have a beautiful week filled with love and with light. Love, Barbara.